Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Ariana Smile, and today I am reading The Frog Prince Continued by John Skizica and Steve Johnson. To Mom and Dad, to our grandparents for cookies, trees, climbing, to our grandparents for cookies, tree climbing, dancing, and frog hunts. The princess kissed the frog. He turned her to a prince, and they lived happily ever after. Well, let's just say they lived sort of happily ever after. Okay, so they weren't so happy. In fact, they were miserable. Stop sticking your tongue out like that, nagged the princess. How come you never want to go down to the pond anymore? Whined the prince. The prince and the princess were so unhappy, they didn't know what to do. I would prefer that you would not hop around on the furniture, said the princess. And it might be nice if you go out of the castle once in a while to slay a dragon or a giant or whatever. The prince didn't feel like going out and slaying anything. He just felt like running away instead. But then he reread his book, and it said right there at the end of the story, they lived happily ever after. The end. So he stayed in the castle and drove the princess crazy. Then one day, the princess grew a perfectly awful fit. First you keep me awake all night with your horrible, croaking snore. Now I find a lily pad in your pocket. I can't believe I actually kissed your slimy frog lips. Sometimes I think we would both be better off if you were still a frog. That's when the idea hit him, the prince thought. Still a frog, yes, that's it. He ran off into the forest looking for a witch who could turn him back into a frog. The prince hadn't gone far when he ran into just the person he was looking for. Miss Witch, excuse me, Miss Witch. I wonder if you could help me. Say, you're not looking for a princess to kiss, are you? Asked the witch. Oh no, I've already been kissed. I'm the frog prince, actually. I was hoping you could turn me back into a frog. Are you sure you're not looking for a beautiful sleeping princess to kiss and wake up? No, I'm the frog prince. That's funny. You don't look like a frog. Well, no matter. If you're a prince, you're a prince. And I'll have to cast a nasty spell on you. I can't have any princesses waking up Sleeping Beauty before the 100 years are up. The prince didn't stick around to see which nasty spell the witch had in mind. He ran deeper into the forest until he came to a tiny cottage where he saw another lady who might help him. Miss Witch, excuse me, Miss Witch. I wonder if you can help me. I'm a prince and what did you say, prince? Croaked the witch. No, no, I'm not the prince looking for Sleeping Beauty. But yes, I'm the frog prince. And I'm looking for a member of your profession who can turn me back into a frog so I can live happily ever after. Frog prince, you say? That's funny. I thought frogs were little green guys with webbed feet. Well, no matter. If you're a prince, you're a prince. I can't have any princesses rescuing Snow White. Here, eat the rest of this apple. The prince knew his fairy tale and knew a poisoned apple when he saw one. Didn't even stay to say no thank you, and he turned and ran deep into the forest. Soon he came to a strange looking house with a witch outside. Miss Witch, excuse me, Miss Witch. I wonder if you can help me. I'm the frog. If you're a frog, I'm the king of frogs, said the witch. No, I'm not a frog. I'm the frog prince. But I need a witch to turn me back into a frog so I can live happily ever after. Can you do it? Said the prince in one long breath. The witch eyed the prince and licked her rather plump lips. Why, of course, dearie. Come right in. Maybe I can fit you in for lunch. The prince stopped on the slightly gummy step. Something about this house seemed very familiar. He broke off a corner of the windscreen and tasted gingerbread. I hope you don't mind me asking, Miss Witch, but do you know what happened to any of the children by the name of Hansel and Gretel? Why, yes, Prince darling, I do. I'm expecting them for dinner. The prince, who, as we said before, knew his fairy tale, ran as fast as he could deeper into the forest. Soon he was completely lost. He saw someone standing next to a tree. The prince walked up hoping she wasn't a witch, for he had quite his fill of witches. Madame, I am the frog prince. Could you help me? Gosh, do you need it? Said the fairy godmother. You are the worst looking frog I've ever seen. I'm not a frog. I'm the frog prince, said the prince, getting a little annoyed. And I need someone to turn me back into a frog so I can live happily ever after. Well, I'm on my way to see a girl in the village and I'm going to a ball. But I suppose I could give it a try. I've never done frogs before, you know. And with that, the fairy godmother reached her magic wand and turned the prince into a beautiful Carriage. The prince couldn't believe his rotten luck. The sun went down, the forest got spookier, and the prince became more and more frightened. Oh, what an idiot I've been. I could have been sitting at home with the princess, living happily ever after, but instead I'm stuck here in the middle of this stupid forest, turned into a stupid carriage. And I'll probably just rot and fall apart and live happily, unhappily ever after. The prince thought these terrible, frightening kind of thoughts, and a few too awful to tell. And until far away in the village, the clock struck midnight. The carriage instantly turned back into his former prince self and ran by the light of the moon until he safe inside his own castle. Where have you been? I've been worried sick. You're 7 hours late. Your dinner is cold. Your clothes are a mess. The prince looked at the princess, who had believed in him when no one else in the world had. The princess who actually kissed his slimy frog lips. The princess who loved him. The prince kissed the princess, and they both turned the frog. And they hopped off happily ever after. The end. And that is the conclusion of The Frog Prince continued. I hope you enjoyed this book, and until next time, my lovelies, goodbye.